This is Bashing doing another caster roundup interview. I have with me.
Hey, it's Slexia. Hi. I've been rounded up. I'm a caster for NGS as well as the community network manager, and this season the captain of team. No,
Is that really how you pronounce that?
it's more like it's like that actually.
Wow, nice. It's unique.
Yeah, it's it's a meaningful, impactful name, and it's just I'm excited for season 10.
Where did you get the inspiration for that name? I have to know.
Unileska and I were playing a game. We were getting flamed in chat by someone, so we asked them to come into voice comms and talk shit to us there. Is cussing allowed here?
Yes.
Okay. So we're like, why are you being so mean, basically? And it was another female actually. She's like, hello, like just super trying to have like this cutesy voice. So after we kept asking her questions, she wouldn't talk anymore. Then she left voice comms and was like, good luck in golds. And we just had a field day, just like mimicking her and going at the end of it. And now that's how we came up with our name.
Wow, I never would have guessed that. That is actually amazing.
Thank you.
Team name stuff. The last time I talked to you, it was during the what was it, Div Grand Finals. I was gonna ask, how's the off season been? But it sounds real eventful.
Yeah, the off season has been good. I've just been playing a lot with friends, creating this team. I did Thursday night Nexomania with a different team that consisted of Jazeline, Alicia Wins, myself, Dax, Salvaje. Matlock was originally a tank. Ragnarok, my friend, was a part of it. And we just kind of rotated people in and out, but we won the grand championship there. Also, I did a couple of charity streams, one with Girls Gank Squad, partnered with Jazzy for that, and another one with Unileska and Coffee. So just trying to stay active in the community and doing things that have an impact more than just my usual Salt, Storm League, and Tilt.
Well, congrats on the Nexomania win.
Thank you.
That sounds pretty awesome. What are you looking forward to in season 10 NGS?
I'm looking forward to winning with my team. Also,
What division did you guys
we
get
got
placed
placed in B West. So we're in that unique place where we won't be competing against B East because they have two divisions. So we're in B West. And yeah. I'm also looking forward to casting games. I know there's a lot of new casters. And just it's going to be super hype with like 120 teams. There's going to be a lot of action, and I think it's NGS is in a good place right now.
It really is. Well, I'm looking forward to watching you guys' games. But this interview is to talk about as you as a caster.
Okay.
You know, so let's get into that. First things first is what got you into casting?
So just my desire to cast got me into casting. I was playing a lot with Weenus, and I was like, I really want to cast. And he's like, all right, let's do it. So I was like, all right, I'll do it with you. So Weenus and I started casting together, and I was just this co-caster. And we had this incredible energy where it was just a lot of fun to not only talk about the game and the matches happening, but create jokes and have a fun time doing it. Then I got a little bit more serious and ventured off to casting on my own and bringing in other people. But it was ultimately my desire to cast and Weenus offering to let me be a co-caster that got me into it.
Were there any other casters that you look up to aside from Weenus?
Well, I didn't say I look up to Weenus. Let me just make that clear. No, I'm kidding. I look up to a lot of casters. I think that Murda is an exceptional caster, and I really enjoy casting with him. and look up to him for his not only his skill set but his enthusiasm. When he is casting. Also, not Paradox and his technical knowledge of the game, because it's a lot more than just watching a match and saying something like, "And Raynor just used Hyperion." It's your goal as a caster is to not only make it engaging but entertaining for people. And I feel like there are quite a few that do that, but to add something a little extra, definitely Murda, not Paradox.
So, if I remember correctly, during the Div C Grand Finals for last season, you tried to keep up with the wearing sunglasses while casting,
I tried to keep up with what?
wearing the sunglasses.
Oh yes, with Murda. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why did you take them off?
So it wasn't my first time wearing sunglasses with Murda. He and I do Game of the Week, and I believe the first time I ever casted with him, I wore sunglasses. But I mean, it's just really hard to pay attention to the screen and have those on. Then at the end of the cast, someone gave me some feedback I didn't ask for, saying my glasses were dirty. And it's like, hey, you know what? I touched the lenses in between games. It got sweaty. But yeah, I just took them off because I mean, why hide my eyes? As a woman that enjoys makeup, I do have to do my makeup before cast, and why not show off that a little bit?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, have you ever asked Murda, well, how does he keep the sunglasses on the entire time?
I have not. I think it's just natural for him. That's his happy place, his comfort zone, and you know, I don't want to pry too much into his personal reasons. Maybe he goes cross-eyed while casting. That's my speculation.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you try to emulate from someone? I'm not saying you emulate the sunglasses, but like you said energy. Like you said, Murder has a lot of energy. Is there anything else that you try to bring into your cast?
Um, just excitement and covering things that people want to see. Um, I may be so interested constantly in macro, but most people are interested solely in team fights. So I try to ramp those up and cast them to the best of my ability. It's crazy when you're actually in the middle of a game to try to articulate what 10 people are doing all at once and choosing what to say and which ult to go over or, you know, uh, what to cover in that short period of time is really a challenge. But um, I think that Murda does a great job of that. And, I definitely learned from him. There are a lot of casters, though, that have excellent skills. So it's not just those two. I guess, I don't know. I think I try to learn from each person that I cast with. So you might see little bits and pieces of everyone and a little bit of my casting.
Is there anyone that you're looking to co-cast with that you've never co-casted with before?
No.
Well, that was
Yeah, I
quick.
think I've casted and co-casted with everyone that I've wanted to. It's as simple as just asking, really, or being asked. And I don't know. I don't think of it like that. Hmm. You know, I don't know. Is there anyone you want to see me cast with?
I was going to ask, could you see yourself doing a cast with Yuna?
I don't think Yuna is looking to cast. For the free agent combine, Coffee casted for the first time. I know that he's interested in it and wants to do a lot this season, but I don't think Yuna is looking to get into casting. But of course, if she were, I'd be happy to.
So you started out as a co-caster. Can you tell me about your first time doing a solo cast?
Yes, I remember it clearly. After getting all of the overlays set up and getting into the games, I realized just how boring I can be when I was casting alone. And you're just, as a solo caster, you're more hyper aware of what you're saying. You don't have anyone to bounce things off of. There's not a moment for you to take a breath so someone else can pick up. So if you're going over a team fight, you have to go over the whole thing. And I just remember being very apologetic in the cast, being like, sorry, something, sorry. And I even have a clip of me going like, sorry, question mark, about how I was casting. It was a learning experience, but I always look for feedback and I look to improve. And it's really hard to take feedback, but I think that in order to get better, you have to accept it and just improve and work on that skill, because it's one thing to say that I'm a caster and it's another to just show continuous improvement and make it, like I said, engaging for your audience and entertaining as well. And there's a lot to memorize. You have to think about all of the different talents and what's the meta, what works with what. And if I'm being honest, all of those things I don't have memorized, but I'm learning more and more. It's more, like I said, than just calling yourself a caster. And that's the thing. I think that investing in what you're doing and taking it seriously is is really important. Even just your own microphone and listening to yourself and deciding, okay, do I need to slow down? Can people understand me? Or is it actually funny when I make a joke? Things like that. I don't know. It's really important to improve.
Is there anything you do to get ready for a cast? Aside from getting your makeup done.
A couple of times I have done like vocal warm ups. Like if I'm casting with Venus, I'll say like unique New York,
Really?
unique New York, unique New York, things like that, just as a joke. But
Wow.
um,
That's really cool. I was wondering, does she do that? I feel like she
I
would.
have before, because it's really weird. It's a weird feeling to turn on the stream, play all these hype intros, and then you just see the caster and the webcam like, hey, what's up everyone? There could be no one watching, but you have to engage with the camera and engage with the stream regardless of how many people are watching. So to get yourself in that mindset, you have to do something. I drink a lot of coffee personally. I love coffee. um, but I have done vocal warm-ups, and if I'm being honest, I get anxiety like before every single cast. I'm sure it wouldn't matter if I casted like 1,000 games or like whatever Arrows casted. I would still get anxiety, and I think that's what makes it fun and exciting. Like if I didn't have anxiety, then I wouldn't care about it, but I care about it, you know. And I want it to be a good time, but I also want to perform well. So I get a little bit of anxiety and do some vocal exercises.
Do you keep water near you
I
just in
usually
case you
keep
get parched?
coffee near me.
Is it hot? Is it
Iced.
hot or iced?
Iced coffee.
Huh. Okay. All right. Interesting choice of
Hmm.
coffee. Well, I was saying that because I'm pretty sure have you ever done like singing or anything like that?
I mean, who doesn't sing? Am I great at it?
Well, I meant
Absolutely
like
not. Yes,
choir.
I did. I did do choir in elementary school, but I don't keep like a warm beverage to soothe my throat or anything like that. I just let myself talk until I run hoarse and then lose my voice. Don't really take care of my throat during casting.
I imagine that would make casting a
Yeah,
little harder.
I like at the end to just sound like I don't know, like an old man. Just start with my normal voice, and after a rough day of casting, just be like, all right, thanks everyone for coming out. That's pretty much my goal. Like if I don't sound like that, then why was I casting? Basically.
So Clint Eastwood in Gran
Oh,
Torino.
I've
Got
never
it.
seen that, but
Right.
sure.
Wow. That's a great movie. You should definitely invest. I think it's 3 hours,
thanks.
something like that. So, is there any difference between you getting ready for a regular season game versus a playoff game?
That's a weird question, considering I haven't really fully competed in the season. Just Thursday night Nexomania.
Well, I meant like for
Oh.
casting. Like, do you spend extra time, looking up the players, doing stats of the storm kind of stuff?
So it depends. In the past, I think I've tried a little harder, and I think this last season I didn't make as much of an effort because those things weren't necessarily emphasized as much. Um, when Stats of the Storm first came out, its presence was just everywhere. And it was fun to look at those stats when I was doing Nexus Edge as a backup host and a frequent co host. I would look at those things and feel like they had an impact, and it'd be worth mentioning in the cast. But when Murda and I do Game of the Week every week, we try to include stats like place, like why is this Game of the Week, right? Like this is the first and second place team, or this is the fourth place team that if they if they win, they get third place and they make it, or we try to emphasize pertinent stats, but there is no real difference in the cast. You definitely have a longer story to tell when it's playoffs because it's towards the end of the season.
What would you tell a newcaster?
Invest in a microphone and do sound checks. Also, just don't be too hard on yourself. If you're nervous, everyone gets nervous. I would tell a new caster to practice and have a fun time. Like it's about having fun. All of these are volunteer positions within NGS. No one's making any money off of this. It's purely because you want to cast the game for fun. So have a fun time.
What's the most nerve-wracking situation that you can think of for a new caster?
There are a couple. Usually if people are running late, or like in the higher level games where ping is such an issue that it's like, why is this on West? And you have to remake the lobby, and then we remake it and we start the game, it's on West again, and it has to happen again. That's pretty nerve-wracking to get that going, especially when you're live. And also when you do plan time to cast and people are late, as I mentioned, it's frustrating. But another frustrating thing can be chat. There are trolls in chat sometimes, and it's kind of distracting. But it's part of the experience, and I don't know. You have to decide whether or not you're going to pay attention to it.
So do you pay attention to chat then when you're casting?
Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that because this is more of a casual environment, whereas like with HGC, it wasn't like, oh, they're interacting with Twitch chat in real time as they're casting. This is NGS. It's a more interactive personal experience in casting, and it's good to say hi to people because they're coming to support their friends or they're supporting you. And yeah, I can choose to interact or I can choose not to. Sometimes I choose to interact, but if the trolls come out, I don't know. Sometimes I get a little spicy, and it's my bad.
Yeah, it sounds like it's fair game. It's your cast, So, how has being the community manager impacted your casting, if at all?
It hasn't really impacted my casting at all because it's a new position that was created for me. I talked to the board and I talked about how I'd like to help bridge some of the gaps within the HOTS community. So that's happened kind of in between the seasons, and it really hasn't had an impact on anything at this point.
So what is the position like? Can you talk about the position?
Yeah, like I said, it's a position that allows me to reach out and form connections with various other HOTS communities to help foster like better relationships between NGS and those others. So that's pretty much all I can all I can say at this time. But I would I would look out for and expect to see collaborations that maybe haven't been done before with organizations and people that maybe have participated within NGS to a certain extent, but maybe just something a bit more meaningful, if that makes sense.
Yes and no.
It won't make sense because I'm just saying things to hear myself speak to try to explain it, but um, it's just it's someone to build relationships with other organizations and help foster those relationships and bring them together with
See, that part
NGS.
makes sense. It's just the actual
Yeah.
part where you're talking about how there's upcoming things, but you couldn't really say them what they were. I understand that frustration of not being able to say what it is exactly that's coming. Um,
Well, there's nothing at this point, but an example of something that I did mention earlier was the charity tournament that I did with Girls Gang Squad. Jasleen and I worked together and created a brand new Discord for Girls Gang Squad that includes all of the females in the HOTS community that we know. It's not just a small group of people participating in those anymore. For that tournament, we had 40 sweaty ladies. It was called the Girls Gang Squad Hots and Sweaty Tournament for Charity. And there were 40 people competing. And a lot of them came from NGS. So it's just intertwining these communities with each other as one larger conglomerate, if you will, you know. So NGS was a part of that. The logo was there. It was to raise money for charity and give people from NGS the opportunity to now participate in Girls Gang Squad if they're interested.
oh, okay. Wow. That's how charitable of you.
I mean, thanks. It's just a
No,
good a
it
good thing
is.
to do to be able to have anyone that's interested play, if they want to. Of course, Jazzy still makes the teams and selects who plays, but this time and now she creates a post asking who's available and who would like to play, and then she goes from there. The way we set up the Discord is that people have to, in order to join, select their rank and what role they play or what roles they play so that she can balance the teams. And we had to do that for the 8 teams for the charity tournament, but each week it's just 2 teams playing in a 5v5. um, Now, just to be clear, the Girls Gang Squad weekly thing is not in partnership with NGS, but there are now more than ever members of the NGS community competing weekly.
So if someone new wanted to compete in that, would they just DM you? Okay.
Yes, they would DM myself or Jazzy, and then we would send an invite to the Girls Gang Squad server.
Awesome. Cool. Well, hopefully some new player listens on this and is able to actually join up with you guys.
Yeah, if you're a lady in the community, anyone that identifies as female that has not been invited, reach out to myself or Jazzy, and we will get you an invite if you're interested.
Awesome. Well, that's all of the questions I have for you tonight. Slexia, thank you. It's been an amazing time, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to listen to this when it comes out and cringe. So thank you again.
Thank you.